I was on the Planning and Zoning Commission in Windsor for 11 years and enjoyed that a lot.
As a member of a Planning and Zoning Commission and then as the chair of a Planning and Zoning Commission, you at that point would have gotten a lot of exposure to attorneys and to legal procedure and so forth. What was your thoughts on that?
I did. It was really the first time I saw lawyers in action, because almost every applicant in front of us was represented by an attorney. And that was educational for me. I eventually got to the point of thinking I could do that job, which I hadn't ever thought of before.
Was it during this time that you made the decision to go to law school?
Yes. I thought, okay, I will try this. But this has to be pretty easy, because by that point we had 2 little boys and they were going to come first. So if I couldn't do this relatively easily, I just couldn't do it. So I took the LSATs cold, and I applied to one law school. The University of Connecticut School of Law let me in, and that took care of that. It was wonderful.
Tell me about the UConn Law School and your experience at the law school.
I figured I'd be the oldest one there. I knew that. I wasn't. I think it was the first class that was half female. And half of the females were over 30. So I had an instant support system.
What year was that you started law school?
I started in 82.
It was in 82.
It was a class of 85.
And did you find that having that group of like-minded women in a similar circumstance to be, do you think, extremely helpful getting through law school?
Having other people who were in the same situation, were juggling children and law school and everything else in life, was very helpful. It was wonderful to have that kind of support.
Did you work while you were in law school?
I did. I did get a job that second summer with, I guess I would call it a medium-sized firm. Danaher, O'Connell, Atmore, Tedford, and Flaherty. Worked there that summer. And there were 3 of us, actually, 3 from my class, 2 young men and me. And then of the 3 of us, I was the one who got the offer for a permanent job after law school. So I certainly didn't feel any discrimination there.
How long were you at that law firm for?
Not that long. After 2 years, the firm broke apart.
And what did you do then?
I was looking for something to do. I was invited to go with one piece of the firm, but it didn't really fit that well. But a friend of mine was in the Attorney General's office, so she suggested I go there. So I applied there, and they offered me a job doing nursing home rate regulation. And I thought, I'd rather put a bullet in my head than do that. So when I said no, I thought I was turning down the whole office. Fortunately, they said, oh, okay, how about child abuse and education litigation? And that's the job I took.
Eventually, after 4 years, you left. What precipitated that?
Because I was pretty sure I didn't want to do that my whole career. So I started looking around, and very quickly I saw an ad in the Law Tribune for a land use lawyer at Pepe and Hazard. And I really felt like I knew land use because I'd been on that commission for 11 years. So I applied for that job and got it right away, and that was also a good move.
Did you feel that you ever had anybody who mentored you at Pepe and Hazard or at the previous work experiences?
I never felt I had really a mentor at the other places, although I had nice support from the people I worked with. At Pepe and Hazard, I would say Carol Lear was a great help. She helped me kind of bridge the gap and make up for my lack of a scientific background, and learn how to weave the science into the law.
I know that you ended up leaving Pepe and Hazard. What was your next position?
We all moved to LaBeouf, Lamb, Green, and McRae, which was a startling move. Pepe and Hazard really was a very good local firm. LaBeouf Lamb was an international firm headquartered in New York. So it was a kind of firm and a size firm I never thought I'd be working for. There were many, many, many attorneys all over the world, and it was pretty cool. I was at that point doing a lot of work for Alcoa. and would be litigating cases all over the country, mainly Superfund cases and toxic tort cases. And we had a lot of autonomy in Hartford. Gradually, over the years, it became more controlled by New York. And we had less authority over what we did, and it became less comfortable. So after 9 years there, I made partner while I was there. After 9 years, I left there and went to Pullman and Comley.
And how long have you been at Pullman and Comley now?
A little more than 13 years.
And you've been department chair at Pullman and Comley, and are widely acknowledged, not just within Pullman and Comley, but I've been at award ceremonies where you've been awarded for your mentoring activities and your interest in helping to nurture and bring young attorneys along.
You know, it's nothing that I consciously thought of, and I'm always a little surprised when people say things like you just did. I don't know that I've overtly served as a mentor. I do think I've helped out young women, and I'm very concerned, as is the whole profession, I think, with the number of women attorneys who leave the profession, often because it's just too much to try and manage children and practice of law. So I'm very concerned with supporting them as much as possible.
I know that you also have had the opportunity and have taken it up to do a lot of pro bono work.
My pro bono interest really came out of my years working with the Attorney General's office. So when I went from the AG's office to Pepe and Hazard, I actually asked Lou Pepe if I could start a pro bono project there. So we did child abuse litigation at Pepe and Hazard. At LaBeouf, which was not quite as welcoming for pro bono work, it still allowed it from time to time. And Pullman certainly allows it, and I've had a huge, wonderful pro bono case there involving international parental kidnapping that was one of the most satisfying things I've ever done.
Now, in addition to all of your community involvement in your pro bono work and your practice of law, you also have made reference to your work up at UConn, up in stores with the undergrads.
2 days a week I'm at stores. I'm the pre-law advisor for the undergraduates. So any UConn student who has any questions about law, law school, anything like that, comes to see me. And it's been very interesting.
Do you have any advice that you would give to attorneys entering the practice now?
I guess I would encourage people to enter the practice. I know some attorneys are discouraging people from going to law school and becoming attorneys, and I regret that. I still feel remarkably privileged to be an attorney. Maybe part of that comes because I never grew up thinking I would be one. So there's still an element of surprise. My goodness, they let me into this club. But I feel very privileged to be part of a profession that I think is immensely important and immensely rewarding. So I would still encourage people to consider it as a profession.